The Harvest.
Welcome, Africa. This is Imane Nouad with the latest news from across the continent and the world. The Libyan Presidential Council has suspended all military and security decisions made by Prime Minister Abdelhamid Dbeiba concerning security institutions, restructuring, declaring a nationwide ceasefire, and ordering military units to return to their bases. The ruling junta in Mali has dissolved approximately 300 political parties, a move prepared for weeks that sparked protests. The DRC government seeks to dissolve opposition parties, including PPRD of ex-president Joseph Kabila, denounced by opposition as political harassment. In Ivory Coast, Tidjane Thiam has been re-elected as the leader of PDCI despite his recent resignation during a nationwide congress organized at 45 sites. Algerian National People's Assembly President Brahim Boughali met with Ivorian counterpart Adam Bictogo in Jakarta during OIC Parliamentary Union session. A high-level Congolese police delegation visited Algeria to strengthen security cooperation between the two nations. Human rights activists denounce Morocco's continued harassment and surveillance of Sahrawi activists, calling it a blatant violation of international law. In similar news, the Terrorist Association held a seminar in Naples, Italy, advocating for Western Sahara's self-determination amid failed decolonization efforts. The Nigerian army announced the elimination of over 20 terrorists during operations in northeast the nation. Amnesty International calls on the UN to renew the arms embargo expiring on May 31st as violence escalates between South Sudan's President Salva Kiir's forces and supporters of detained Vice President Riek Machar. Speaking before the UN Security Council under Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs, Tom Fletcher urged decisive action to stop what he called 21st century atrocity in Gaza and for the first time used the word genocide. Fletcher also accused the Zionist occupation of deliberately imposing inhuman conditions on civilians, blocking essential aid for over 10 weeks and preventing humanitarians from accessing the occupied Palestinian territory. Let's hear what he said.
We have described the deliberate obstruction of aid operations and the systematic dismantling of Palestinian life and that which sustains it in Gaza. So you have that information. And now the ICJ is considering whether a genocide is taking place in Gaza. It will weigh the testimony that we have shared, but it will be too late. Recognizing the urgency, the ICJ has indicated clear provisional measures that must be implemented now. So for those killed and those whose voices are silenced, what more evidence do you need now? Will you act decisively to prevent genocide and to ensure respect for international humanitarian law? Or will you say instead that we did all we could? Mr. President, this degradation of international law is corrosive and infectious. It is undermining decades of progress on rules to protect civilians from inhumanity and the violent and lawless among us who act with impunity.
Over 40,000 Sudanese Muslim women and children have fled to Chad amid ongoing violence, reports the UNHCR. A water tanker serving a Darfur hospital in Sudan was destroyed by artillery fire, leaving around 1,000 patients without clean water, according to UNICEF. The World Health Organization reports over 14,000 cases of mpox in Africa this year, with 67 deaths recorded. The GDP grew by 1.6% in the first quarter of 2025, while employment dropped by 4.8%, reports the Tunisian Institute of Statistics. And to conclude our harvest today with sport news, FIFA lifted sanctions on Congo, reinstating their participation in African World Cup qualifiers. Meanwhile, DRC's coach Guy Bokassa resigned after team's early exit from Youth African Cups, whereas Nigeria faces South Africa in a game while Egypt takes on Morocco tonight. And that's all for today's harvest. Thank you for paying attention. Don't go too far and stay with Sihan Bougazi in the main news French roundup at 6:45 p.m. today, and keep enjoying today's program with Africa FM, the voice of Africa.
Exclusive interview.